evening, gentlemen. It's your favorite wannabe sports mascot, Grimy, the gainfully unemployed and grotesquely less attractive cousin of Flyers mascot, Gritty. As you well know, my status as unofficial mascot of Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club is an unpaid position. But I have a job interview lined up. My agent, aka Bookie, advised me to meet with the Phillies about potentially replacing the Fanatic. Why not replace one mascot going through legal problems with another? But aside from a late 80s restraining order from Miss Piggy and some minor drug violations, my record is basically clean. I'll remind your listening audience that my interactions with Mr. Met were deemed entirely consensual by the state of Nevada. Anywho, I'm glad you boys are back on the air, and I look forward to seeing you all on YouTube. And CJ at Cheerleaders every Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday.
The following is a Just Green production, brought to you by the Might Be News Network.
What's up, everybody? It's the week of February 24th, 2020. This is the season premiere of Might Be Sports. With me, as always, Kevin Reevy. What up, Reevy?
Since Frank's American Pub closed, I hear CJ is what they call a regular.
A regular.
At Cheerleaders.
CJ, say
I have
what
free
up.
time on my hands. What can I say?
What's up, CJ?
How's it going?
So it's been 2 months since we've been here. I'm glad to see that Grimy was excited for us to come back to an all-new season of Might Be Sports here. So much has happened since we've been gone in the world of sports, but first
What's new, Taylor? What's new?
First thing I want to say is YouTube can see us now.
It feels the same.
We're not going to play any unprotected or any copywritten music on this show, so we will have a YouTube episode of this. Unlike Tunes this week, I'll get into that a little later. But I just want to say shout out to our sponsor, eunomiacbd.com. Go to eunomiacbd.com. Use our promo code MBN. Get 20% off your order, free shipping and free shit. Everybody that uses our promo code at eunomiacbd.com gets free stuff every time you order something. It's crazy, and I'm not exaggerating. Also, go to the all-new mbnnetwork.com. We've updated some things. We've got a link to Eunomia on there, so go check that out. Also, we have a link to our all-new YouTube page with our videos that we're doing now. If you are listening to this episode wherever you listen to your podcast, like you normally listen to us, you can pause this and go to YouTube right now and watch us as we're doing this. It's awesome. I'm really glad that we're doing it. It seems to be going really well so far for everybody but Might Be Tunes. And we'll talk again more about that a little later. Actually, you know what? Let's just get it out of the way right now. Might Be Tunes. You will hear it everywhere on your podcast like normal, but you will not see it on YouTube. YouTube is very, very big on making sure that we don't play shit that we're not supposed to play. And it's my fault.
Someone abused hardcore.
It's my fault. And just listen to the show on Friday. It's a Friday doubleheader. There's a Might Be Brews season premiere as well. It's premiere week. Reevy, what have you been up to in the past 2 months?
I went to Florida.
Yeah.
For the Super Bowl.
Oh.
Didn't go to the Super Bowl.
Okay, but you were in the vicinity.
Went to Orlando.
Okay.
I enjoy Orlando. I have some friends down there. I like to do something for the Super Bowl every year. I take that week off. I work really hard during the holiday season, and it's nice to just have that week off and enjoy myself. And I really enjoy the game. I don't care who plays in it. It's one of my favorite days of the year, that and March Madness Thursday, and that's coming up soon.
Yeah.
And it was a great game.
It was a great game.
I really didn't think the Chiefs were going to win. But
no, you didn't?
No, not at all.
Like not going into it or while you were watching?
All the trends, well, even while watching it. And it was such a weird game. And I had had a lot to drink that day, so I wasn't too finely tuned in to the particulars. I'd golfed earlier in the morning and drank throughout the day. And I was at a restaurant, drinking more, eating. Actually, the best cheesesteaks in Florida were right there. Cavo's Kitchen and Bar
Yeah.
in downtown Orlando. Check it out.
You were impressed?
One of the best cheesesteaks I've ever had in my entire life.
Really?
And it's because those guys are from Philly. They kind of brought it down there. They do a really good job. So I was one of the guys that got caught in that bet. I don't gamble a lot except Super Bowl and horse racing from time to time, and maybe a couple games during March Madness just for fun. But I had that bet, the
And then
over
every Wednesday, and then every Thursday,
Yeah.
and then the weird prop bets. and
every
then,
other day, not including weekends. Obviously, I bet every weekend. But besides that, I never bet on Mondays, ever, hardly ever. But yeah, so I had the bet, the Patrick Mahomes over 30 rushing yards. I think it was 30, maybe 35, whatever it was. I got caught in that damn bet where him taking a knee at the end of the game just rolled all those yards back and got screwed on that.
Oh, yeah.
What was it? Because I remember you called Fitz to put in the bet for you since you were in Florida.
Right. And
What was it? He fucked you over by a yard or two when he did
it ended
that?
up being significantly under, maybe like 7 yards back, because, I mean, the one drop back, he lost 7, 8, 9 yards.
Yeah, it was a
One.
lot. It was a lot.
Just wild and unnecessary. If you're going to do it, just lose a couple yards. I guess he was in the shotgun formation, and they did it that way. I wasn't even watching at that point because I knew the game was over, and I figured, all right, well, I put a bet on the Chiefs and put a bet on the I'm sorry, not on the Chiefs, on the 49ers.
Niners, yeah.
So I figured my bets, canceled each other out. It wasn't a lot of money, but it's just still annoying.
Yeah.
So there was that. And besides that, nothing new. I got engaged. I hate talking about personal stuff like that.
Does it make you feel icky?
That's not about my fiance. She's the best.
Right.
Is like talking about that stuff.
Just talking.
And I don't
Yeah,
like
this part will be cut out when someone shows it to her.
I don't love mushy stuff. I don't like saying the word fiance.
Does it feel weird? Are you excited?
But I don't like that word.
Yeah, it's a weird word.
I don't even like girlfriend.
Yeah.
I don't know what to call her. I just call her Carrie sometimes, and
My
people
best
don't even
friend.
know her. And I'll just say her name, and they'll figure it out. They know who I'm talking about.
Right.
So I don't know. I'd never like girlfriend or, I think it's it's John Mulaney does a joke.
Can my girlfriend come? It's one of my,
Can my girlfriend come? That's how I've always
Jackie's
felt.
favorite shit. That's my wife.
My fiance, yeah, that wife is strong.
Wife is strong.
It's one of those words, it's just wife.
Yeah. So you're ready to get. I mean, I'm excited for you.
Yeah,
That's great.
July 10th, 2021. That's when we're getting married.
Wow, man.
We got engaged a month ago, and everything's already done.
Just done.
Set.
Oh, that's great.
We're cake tasting next month. It's like everything's gonna be done. There's gonna be a year to go.
Yeah.
I mean,
that's cool. That's cool.
There's no guarantees I'm even gonna be alive then. And I've actually thought about that. And this is gonna sound weird to say, but like as we're putting the guest list together, some people are gonna drop.
Yeah,
some
yeah,
people are gonna die.
yeah.
It's just there's enough time. It's a
you-
year
you-
and a half.
Are you both like? Is your family primarily from this area? Both of you?
Yeah,
Yeah.
for the most part.
See, that's nice.
It's gonna be good.
That's nice.
It's gonna be a hell of a party.
That's good, man. That's great.
CJ's invited.
Yep, I'll be there.
We'll tell you all about it.
I can't wait to hear all
Yeah,
about it.
it's gonna be great.
Oh,
You don't
God.
want to miss it, CJ.
Just let me know when I need to book my hotel room.
Where is it going to be at? Around here?
By the way, Cartoon Network Hotel just opened up.
I saw that.
Just outside downtown Lancaster. It's the wedding will be in downtown Lancaster, and I think there's nothing at all weird about a mid-30s man booking himself and only himself a stay at the Cartoon Network Hotel.
No, not at all. I would thoroughly
it's in the middle of
enjoy
nowhere.
being invited to something like that.
I doubt there's a bar, so I'm not interested.
Is there not a bar?
It's a Cartoon Network hotel. Probably not.
I mean,
Disney doesn't serve until recently didn't serve booze. So
really?
yeah,
There's some weird stuff on the Cartoon Network though.
So I want to talk about, congratulations. I'm very happy for you. That's really great.
Moving on.
I want to talk, there's so many things happened in the sports world since we've been gone. We kind of touched on the Super Bowl already. I really enjoyed the Super Bowl this year. I thought it was a great game. I wanted the Chiefs to win, so I'm happy that they did. But more than anything, I'm just glad it was a good game. Like it was a good game. I feel like San Francisco really didn't show up in the second half, but like other than that, it was a good game. The Chiefs, what a remarkable playoff run they had this year. They were favored in all the games, I believe, and ended up having to come back in all of them, including the Super Bowl. Very entertaining to watch all throughout the playoffs. I was really excited for Patrick Mahomes, really excited for Andy Reid, obviously, and
Patrick Mahomes, the real MVP of the National Football League. I don't want to say I told you so, but Lamar Jackson, when it came down to it, we're still, because Lamar Jackson screwed the pooch again in the playoffs.
Yeah,
we are back to
what if? Like, what is he?
Totally questioning whether a purely running quarterback can succeed in the NFL. You could look at his stats and say, well, he's not a purely running quarterback. He threw a lot of touchdown passes.
Yeah, he did better in that. This year.
Because he ran for a ridiculous amount of yards. And that just, you're going to...
opened it up for that to happen.
So if he has to just throw the ball, it's not going to happen. It's not going to work. They're not going to do that. Plus, by the way, he's going to get hurt next year. I said that last year, but now it's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or he's going to blow it in the playoffs. One of those two things, guaranteed.
I will say this, that the MVP that he earned, in my opinion.
He did earn it.
Obviously it's a regular season accolade, and I know that that's not what he wanted. The real thing he wanted is what Patrick Mahomes got, and that's the Super Bowl MVP. And Patrick Mahomes deserved that. I just like I feel like Lamar Jackson deserved what he got this year. I think he got kind of exposed in the playoffs. I also think that I kind of feel like that bye week kind of hurt them a little bit, and they didn't look sharp. None of them did. The Ravens didn't look sharp, and I don't know if he can stay healthy next year. I think they'll be back in that same position, but if he can't, like you're saying, I just don't see it. It's going to be interesting. So there's that Amazon Eagles show out that I have not watched yet because I was kind of footballed out after the Super Bowl, and I'm planning on watching that going into next season as almost like a extended hype up video. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Did you watch it?
I haven't seen it. It's weird, I think, to watch one of those when you know the season didn't end very well. So maybe it's cool, but also I haven't heard any snippets from it. Nothing really made the news. So I also kind of know going in that nothing really happened of note. Nothing crazy. Nothing was said.
They didn't disclose who who the
leaker was.
The leaks were from and all that stuff. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm planning on watching it for a hype up video next season, just because the season kind of it ended on a good note. I mean, on our show last season, we were both very frustrated towards the middle of the season last year with the receivers, with the offense in general. We had, Ricky Bell from the Backyard Report, shout out to them, on talking about it with us. And, it was a brutal point in that season, but then it just kind of turned around and that underdog mentality really started to come back. And then in the playoffs, it was like the first or second play, Carson Wentz goes down with an injury. Freak injury. It happens, but an injury nonetheless, a concussion that took him out for the game. And Josh McCown came in and played a really good game, but he played a really good game for a 41-year-old, or was he 40 at the time? I don't know.
Well, what does it matter?
It was tough. It was a tough.
He was very immobile, and he was hurt too. So
he was hurt as well.
You got a 40-plus-year-old guy at quarterback that can't move around too well.
Yeah,
and that's not great. But Carson Wentz, I thought, made a lot of strides, and it's just we talk about this all the time. You go week to week, and you overreact week to week. Every time about whether a guy's high or low.
You're right.
And I feel like we did that all season long with Lamar Jackson. when all season long, we got to remember, like, Patrick Mahomes is the best. And you take those 2 years, he was hurt for part of this year, so we allowed ourselves to forget and jump on the Jackson train. But when the dust settled, when it was all said and done, what did he do? He threw for 50 touchdown passes his first season.
Yeah.
And then he won the Super Bowl MVP his second season. So he's the best quarterback in football.
Yeah.
But we just allow ourselves, he has one good regular season, and Lamar Jackson is now the best. And we're supposed to now use him as the framework for what QBs are supposed to be here on out.
No, I don't think so.
Things are getting too crazy week to week. I remember people were saying during the season to replace Carson Wentz.
Yeah. Yep.
To bring in McCown, to replace a healthy Carson Wentz because he wasn't playing up to people's standards. They weren't winning games, but the numbers were still there. You still have to look at numbers. They still matter. And it's hilarious how people will look at Dak Prescott's numbers, but he's not performing. And totally different reaction.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that. I mean, when it comes down to it, Carson Wentz, I think, is a winner. I don't know how, if you add it all up, what his record is, but you got to give him a whole season. Mm-hmm. When it came right down to it, he performed with backups all over the field. And he did really, he won 9 games with that collection of backups at wide receiver. It's incredible. And at running back, too. Dak Prescott put together some stats, but he couldn't get it done in the win-loss column. So.
Right. Before we move on from football, I want to ask you both one question. Out of the 2 teams in the Super Bowl this year, Kansas City Chiefs and the San Francisco 49ers, which one of the 2 do you think will be back to the Super Bowl first?
Well, Chiefs.
Yeah.
I don't trust Janine Garofalo. I don't know. Sorry, I couldn't. Jimmy Garoppolo.
Jimmy, yeah.
It's easier to come up with Janine Garofalo. She's been in my life for a lot longer.
It's true.
What was the movie called? The thing about dogs and cats and dogs. Dogs, cats. Cats, dogs. Cats, dogs movie.
Cat dogs?
That was a thing. That was on Comedy Central all the time
movie.
back in the late 90s.
That one movie with the animals.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there was that.
I agree. I think Kansas City, we don't know what's going on with New England right now. We don't know what is going to be, their next couple steps here in the next year or 2. But I think that with them on a downward trend, the Chiefs could be the next big thing. You know what I mean?
And also, if you think about it, Janine Garofalo is way too famous for what has she really done?
Are we talking about her or Jimmy? Because I feel the same. I feel that way about Jimmy.
Their
Garoppolo.
careers are very similar.
Yeah, because they've done.
Janine Garofalo, she did the Cats Dogs movie, and then she was on, I think, Sirius. She had a show on Sirius for a while that I guess people watched.
I don't know.
Or listened to, rather.
Yeah.
And I don't know what else she's done. Did a little bit of stand-up, but I feel like she left the stand-up scene, then came back. I don't know if I saw. That reminds me. She had a special that came out recently. I watched the clip on YouTube, and I was like,
Not funny.
but kind of weirdly not funny in a way that, like, I feel like they cut that clip to kind of mess with her. Like, because I'm not even sure there was a joke in there. It was really, really strange. It was so not funny. And normally, you get to that level and, you can get a clip.
Right.
So I got to watch the stand-up back to see, like, how not funny it really is. If the best part was that not hilarious. What's the opposite of hilarious?
The opposite of hilarious?
Yeah. I just realized that I don't know what that is. The opposite of hilarious would be
Not funny at all.
Yeah.
I guess sad.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
Sad.
Sad.
It was a little
If you're
sad.
looking for a one-word answer, I would say
was
sad
kinda
or
sad.
awkward.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah.
You're probably going to come next week all depressed because
Speaking-
you watched every
I'm glad we
special
settled
she's
this.
done.
Speaking of sad, I want to talk about Kobe because Kobe Bryant passed away while we were gone as well, and just the other day was the memorial service for him held at the Staples Center, which everything I saw from there was fantastic. Shaq did a great job. Michael Jordan did a great job. Obviously, his wife did a great job.
I found out today that his parents were there and no one really acknowledged them.
Really?
Yeah.
It was a definitely a spectacle, and just a unexpected tragedy. Me personally, I was a fan of Kobe later in his career, and more so, I guess, I appreciated him more so after he was out of the league, because when I'm a Sixers fan, right? So like I didn't like Kobe because he was on the Lakers. I didn't like Kobe because of that finals appearance. I didn't like Kobe because of that. I appreciated Kobe because he's from our area. I appreciated Kobe because of that connection, but also like I'm not from this area, so I don't have that strong of a connection there. You know what I mean? So for some purposes, I hated on Kobe during his career because I was always bitter at Kobe because he had a better team, he had a better system, he had a better everything in place, and it just they dominated for so long, and it was just kind of hard to watch. Just like I hate on the Patriots. Like I wouldn't normally hate on the Patriots, but because they keep winning and because it just keeps happening. You know, I feel like if it was, for some reason I didn't hit that level with Golden State. I definitely hit that level with LeBron, where it was just like enough. But Kobe, I mean, hearing some of the stories from other players, from people that he's mentored, from people that he's interacted with, and it's just a really, really tragic thing. And I mean, everybody that lost their lives that day was just really just a terrible, terrible thing. We were watching TV, and it's just like all of a sudden our phones just started going off like it was like an Amber Alert. Like, you know what I mean? I couldn't believe it. I was like, this has to be fake. There's no way. There's no way. And sure enough, I have some of his stats pulled up because there's so many crazy fucking things that Kobe Bryant did. 5-time NBA champion, 7 NBA Finals appearances, 2-time NBA Finals MVP. He was the 2-time scoring champion, 18 times All-Star, 18 consecutive selections to the All-Star game, 13 consecutive appearances. There was no All-Star game in 1999, and he missed 10, 14, and 15 due to injury. 4-time NBA All-Star Game MVP, 15-time All-NBA Team selection, 12-time All-Defensive Team selection, NBA Rookie Team selection, NBA Slam Dunk Contest champion in 1997, 34-time Player of the Month, NBA playoffs leader, win shares, points per game, minutes played, field goals made. He's NBA records that he currently holds. Most seasons played for a single NBA franchise. He's tied with Dirk for 20. Most All-Star Game MVP awards won career. He's tied with Bob Pettit for 4. Most offensive rebounds in an All-Star Game, 10. Most all NBA total selections won in his career, 15. He's tied.
That's a long list, and you're not going to read all.
I'm not going to read all this, dude. It's huge. Look at all that. It's huge. Like the impact that Kobe Bryant had on the NBA and the world is just immeasurable.
Well, he came in almost literally right after Jordan, so it was natural that people wanted to say who was the next Jordan. That conversation started with Kobe Bryant. He never quite got there, but he got pretty close. And then LeBron took away from that conversation a little bit, because then LeBron, with his career towards the end of Kobe's, it became pretty clear that LeBron was better. So those comparisons ended, and then it was purely just Jordan and LeBron. So Kobe, he was a great player, and I think he might maybe a little bit overshadowed by LeBron's career, but probably doesn't get enough credit for being one of the best players in NBA history. I would wonder where he would rank in the top 10. I mean, right now, and it's so silly. There was a thing trending on Twitter they did like a tier of the best. I think it was from the NBA. They did a tier of the greatest players of all time. And I think there was 4 guys, maybe 5 guys per tier. And the whole idea, the whole exercise, and there was like 5 tiers for the 5 positions on a basketball team. It was like a point value, and it said, pick your all-time team. You have 15 points to pick these guys. And it was trending on Twitter because Kevin Durant was ranked in like the bottom tier. And everybody was saying, like, look at the disrespect to Kevin Durant. And I'm sitting there saying, like, Wilt Chamberlain is like the second to bottom tier. They're saying guys like Allen Iverson and Dirk Nowitzki are better than Wilt Chamberlain.
Yeah, it's silly.
And it's kind of funny but that's like we just said, how people overreact to the right now. So if Kobe was playing right now, he would be in that conversation like, holy shit. Like if he was in his prime right now, he would be in the Kevin Durant thing where it's like, man, he's got to be in that upper tier.
Yeah.
I'm not sure where he ends up. But if I just say off the top of my head, you got, Wilt Chamberlain, I think is the greatest of all time. Michael Jordan, LeBron James, and then you really got to wonder, is the next one Kobe? It could be. I mean, if you're talking offense and defense, he had it. And like you said, 12 all-defensive teams?
Yeah.
Kobe might be right there.
I would definitely say that Kobe's a shoo-in for like top 5, right? Like certainly
it's so
top
weird
10.
Because then you look at just the production and just what he did personally. But I would still say that Shaq was the best player on that team.
One thing.
So then you're wondering, like, all right, well then, but then I wouldn't automatically. It's weird.
Yeah.
Right. Like I thought Shaq was way more dominant, a better player.
One thing that I think.
But then is Kobe the better player in the top 5? It doesn't make any sense.
One thing that I feel like sets Kobe above, not above, but apart rather from the rest of the pack there is the Mamba mentality. You keep hearing people talk about what Kobe did or what Kobe said to inspire them to want to be better. You hear from people that he was coaching. You hear from people that he wasn't even coaching, but just having conversations with. Like Allen Iverson in a recent interview was talking about a memorable moment between him and Kobe where he was out in L.A. for the All-Star game or something, and Iverson's like, "What are you doing tonight?" And Kobe's like, "I don't know. What are you doing?" And Iverson's like, "I'm going to club," and Kobe's like, "I'm going to the gym." And like the Mamba mentality. You don't really hear people talk about Jordan that way. You don't really hear about, and not to say that they aren't, I just don't know. But, and I'm sure they will, God, when Jordan's gone. But I feel like the Mamba mentality, that's a thing. You know what I mean? College players talk about it. People across different sports talk about it. It's not just a basketball thing. So that's almost like a cultural impact to a point. You know what I mean? And that's something that not a lot of players in any sport really achieve. And that's NBA. I'd put him in my top 10, but to me, he's one of maybe in my top 3 athletes, just impact-wise.
Well, it's one of those things. It's why Jerry Rice is still the greatest wide receiver of all time, because he put the work in. And
right.
Nobody outworked him.
Mm-hmm.
And why Randy Moss will forever be a step behind. Randy Moss had more talent at wide receiver than anybody in the history of the game, maybe ever, from now until eternity. Mm-hmm. All he'll ever be is in the conversation for the greatest top 5 wide receivers of all time, but he'll never take Jerry Rice's
Never
slot.
be number 1.
And he had every opportunity to do that, just didn't have the work ethic. He kind of rested on his athletic ability a little bit. You have to have a certain, great work ethic to make it to that level and succeed.
Yeah.
Kobe had the physical gifts and nobody outworked him.
Right.
LeBron's the same kind of guy, the physical gifts, but also the, that mentality. And, speaking of the Mamba stuff, with all due respect, I still think it's bullshit that he nicknamed himself I mean, with all due respect to the guy, I mean, I know I have to be consistent. When he was alive, I said it was bullshit. I still think it's kind of bullshit that he nicknamed himself. There used to be rules about these things.
You can't nickname yourself.
We gave him a pass for years on that.
You're right,
I never
you're right.
understood why.
You're right.
And, you know,
Well,
why?
unless it's
Because
a brand. You
everyone-
can brand yourself. You can brand yourself, but you can't nickname yourself.
He was such a likable dude, and that's why he got away with it.
Yeah.
Even when he was saying things, you know, like
It also fit. It also fit.
right. But when he was saying stuff to Philly fans, like, you know, gonna come to Philly and cut your hearts out and all that kind
Yeah.
of stuff. Still, you didn't hate the guy. It was
Right.
hard to hate the
Right.
guy because there just wasn't much substance there to hate.
Because he backed it up too.
Yeah.
And that's a Philly thing. You know, you want to, as a Philly fan here, you want to see people back it up when they say it. So, rest in peace to Kobe and everybody else on that helicopter. We're gonna take a quick break, and we'll be right back. And I want to talk about the Houston Astros and whatever else we got. We got some clickbait, some go to the week action. We'll be right back after this. Welcome back to Might Be Sports. I'm Taylor Cooper. Kevin Reeves here. CJ.
Yep.
What's going on, guys? So another thing that happened while we were gone, and something that still isn't really resolved, it doesn't really feel resolved, is this Houston Astros situation. Reevy, can you explain to me and our listeners that are baseball illiterate what is going on with the Houston Astros?
Okay, so full disclosure, me and Ryan Spader, authors of Incredible Baseball Stats, the best baseball book ever written, period, says most people. Not me. Don't quote me on that. That's just what people say. I guess we did a good job.
You did a great job.
The most recent forward is written by Lance McCullers, current pitcher for the Houston Astros. I did my favorite player of all time, Nolan Ryan, famous Astro. I did a promo kind of photo for the book release last time where I'm wearing an Astros jersey. We're friendly with, the guys that do the commentary over there. So I have a bias with this. Now, the quick story of what happened, everybody already knows. We'll just do the Cliff Notes version. Basically, they had a video system where they were able to see the signs in real time. Seeing the signs, they would know what kind of pitch was coming. And in a simple way, let's say I'm not sure which kind of pitches, I didn't get, too deep into their system, but let's just say every time a fastball was called, they would bang on a trash can behind, some right outside, in the tunnel right outside the dugout, and it would be loud enough you'd be able to hear it at the plate. And if you're not listening for it, if you don't know what's going on, you might not notice it.
Catch it, right.
So, but also you do that kind of nefarious stuff, eventually you get caught. And this is the problem with conspiracies and all that kind of stuff.
But didn't a player rat them out?
Right. That's how it, but I believe there were rumors, there was some talk that something was going on.
There was, I forget what game it was, where the other team blatantly told the umps, there's something going on. What the fuck are you going to do about it?
Really?
So then it was Mike Fiers, who's now pitching for, I think maybe the Angels, but was on the Astros championship team. He kind of ratted out, what was going on when he was with the team. So, long story short, the reason why, it is cheating, and, it's major cheating. But the reason why it's still a story now, and it's bigger now more than ever, besides the fact that this season is starting right now, is people are getting more and more pissed off that no players were suspended. So the GM and the head coach, or the manager rather, got the axe, and there was a fine. Believe they might have lost draft picks. That was the end of it. Now, they said they couldn't suspend players or fine players because it was hard to determine who exactly benefited, who did it, who didn't. That might have been a mistake. And I think the commissioner, Rob Manfred, is kind of realizing that now. But it's just a piling on that's going on right now. You can't change the past. And people want, Dodgers fans, I think one fan actually started a class action lawsuit.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens with that. I guess it's a possibility, but well, the Astros season ticket holders filed a lawsuit, and there's an FBI racketeering investigation. When there's money involved, it just gets, this has nothing to do with the nature of the sport or feeling cheated out of a win. This is now a money grab that certain people that feel like they have a shot at something are going to go for it. But you can't change the past. The Astros won the World Series. There's no satisfaction in vacating that. Do the Dodgers say, "Oh, we're champions now"? Do they have a parade in LA tomorrow?
Yeah. And then Nevada is investigating it due to the gambling.
Right. Which it's all so dumb because what happened is what happened. If there was cheating, okay. Oh well, it's done. It's over. People want it's not even about changing the past. It's feeling like they were wronged, and I want to see people pay. Right. And in some aspects, they want to see people literally pay them. Yeah. They want to get money back for this. And you know what? It's over. It happened. It's over. It's done. So yeah, what they did was absolutely wrong, but they need to move on. I think one of the best bets, speaking of gambling, best bets you can make right now is the under on them getting hit by the opposing team. Somewhere in the 80s, like 85 times this year. I don't keep track of that kind of stuff. We should have had Spader on today to, give me an idea what the average number is for a random team. But if they're going to keep beating Astros players, then they're going to keep getting on base, and it's going to put them at an advantage. I don't think teams are going to do that. Plus, they're not going to get a free pass to just start hitting Astros players. That's not going to be allowed. So it's going to happen early on, but then that's going to be the end of it.
Yeah, I feel like some of the outrage that I've seen, again, I didn't really watch any like the press conferences from the Astros, like personnel and stuff like that. But from what I've heard, the general gist of it is like it doesn't feel like anybody's really all that sorry about it. And it's just kind of like, yeah, basically the same thing that you just said. Yeah, it happened, move on. And that's fine for you to say.
Right.
You know what I mean? That's fine for like an Astros fan to say.
But why do you
But you don't want to hear that out of the well, like again, I didn't see it. Yeah. I heard audio, but I feel like I would have liked to have seen their facial expression or like the way the mannerisms. And again, I don't even know these people. I don't see them on TV often. I don't know. Maybe that's just how they are, But like, I don't know if because this is such an egregious act because you did win a championship with that. If you did, like if they didn't win everything, I don't think that this would be a big deal. As big of a deal as it is, right? If they got booted out of the first round of the playoffs, who cares? Really, who cares? But because they took it all the way, because they kept doing it all the way, that makes it a more serious thing to me, just from the total outside looking in. Because I couldn't give any less of a shit about this as an Astros fan because I'm not. But it's a crazy thing, and I don't know how I feel about vacating the championship because you can't give it to the team that lost. You can't. It means
nothing.
So like to me, put an asterisk next to it and move on. Asterisk is just ask me about this. What happened? Oh, these fucking guys cheated. That deserves to be in the annals of history, right? It deserves to be known that they did that. So an asterisk just solves all those problems.
I think Major League Baseball is being too relaxed about it.
I get that vibe too, but I think that's going to kick up when people start hitting people with
Black
pitches.
Sox. You look at Pete Rose and
people are just vindictive on social media, and that's why they want They want more heads to roll. They want more.
Well, that's
for what?
That's fans too. That's fans, and I'm of the opinion of, and at least when it comes to stuff like this, of like, who really cares what we think? You know, like the league needs to figure it out one way or the other and punish people, which they have. Whether it's strict or not, we don't have a say in that. Like, social media is just here's my opinion, do with it what you will. But then you see players like Mike Trout and other players from other teams talking about how mad it makes them, and somebody needs to beat these guys. One of them, somebody said about them, and that is an issue. That is an issue that needs to be addressed by Major League Baseball.
And there's also, let's keep in mind,
it seems like it has been, because that was like a week or two ago that those kind of comments were being made, and I don't feel like they're being made this week. I haven't heard anything.
We'll never know how many teams were also doing something nefarious. Mm-hmm. But I can't stand it when the Astros GM, when he first commented on it, he had a press conference when spring training just got started, and I knew before he even stepped up to that mic, I knew what the narrative was going to be afterward. I knew it was going to be something along the lines of the apology wasn't enough.
Yeah.
These narratives are already set in place before anything happens. And then lo and behold, after I see countless articles, the lead article on ESPN was, he didn't seem sorry enough. Okay, Dad. Like, who didn't seem sorry enough? All right, well, I guess tell the Astros owner he needs to sit in the corner and think about what he's done for about 15 more minutes and then do another press conference. And this time, mean it. Who cares? He doesn't owe us anything. He gave the apology. Take it or leave it.
Yeah.
And let's play some baseball.
Yeah, I can dig what you're saying, but I don't know. I
don't think Major League Baseball's really, because baseball's more of, I guess I would say, like a fringe sport, because like you look at NFL, you look at NBA, they have more salary cap. There's more involved with the central group owning or running it, as opposed to baseball's kind of more, you teams do whatever you want, and we just do a little bit here and there.
Yeah, just kind of oversee the whole thing.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I don't know, man. I feel like as baseball has proven time and time again that it's the purest sport that we have here, right? I mean, like, you have a lot of baseball purist fans who don't want anything to change at all. Any real new rule that's brought up, people get mad about it. Not everybody, but like there is a group of people that are just like, old school baseball is baseball. That's it. And I feel like this kind of thing really upsets, or should upset, that group of people. Like, that ruins the game.
When it was only whites, that was the purest.
Oh, God.
I know what you're getting at. This guy. It's always race with him.
Always race.
You should hear before the show starts, he's thinking about, man, back when Babe Ruth played, that's when it was the toughest, because he had to go up against all of the other whites. There were more whites in the game, and that's why it was a pure sport back then, says Taylor.
What's your least favorite baseball team? Let me ask you. What's your, like, what team is there out there that you're just like, fuck these guys?
I think about that a lot. There's not a team that I really hate. I dislike the Yankees and the Braves. The Braves are the team I really hate, but there are times when the Mets kind of sneak in there.
So if the Braves did this and won a World Series because of it, not because of it, but using it,
I'm not that guy. No, I wouldn't. The better question would be if the Cowboys.
All right.
Because then you're getting into like real hatred.
Yeah.
And I could see that.
But the NFL would come down
but
hard.
You know what?
The NFL would
I'd feel so good
smash that.
I wouldn't ask for more of an apology. I would feel so good because in my own mind, I'd be like, oh, thank God that Super Bowl win didn't count.
So check this then.
Great. I'd be great with it.
But like, okay, so to CJ's point, because Major League Baseball, like, yeah, they handed down some punishment, but like they haven't really, I don't know, maybe Major League Baseball just hasn't done enough about it, but I don't know. There's something missing from this whole equation to me, And I don't know what they're going to do to fix it.
Will the Astros do something about it, depending on how this lawsuit goes and how?
I don't know how they're going to raise that banner every game. I don't know how they're going to do that.
And
they're just going to do it.
Season ticket holders, what they can get out of their contract? They have a lawsuit against them now.
Yeah.
When the money starts getting hurt because of it,
that's when things will change.
Well, but the thing about baseball, it's not like it's the team that makes the money and then they pay their dues to Major League. It's not like where the NFL, where it goes to the NFL and then the NFL disperses it for salary cap, this and that, blah, 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 like the NBA does too.
Yeah.
I don't see that lawsuit going anywhere because cheating isn't. They're going to argue that cheating is an inherent aspect of sports. So when you attend a game, you're guaranteed that you're going to see as fair a competition as they can promise. Well, but there's no guarantee that what you are seeing is not going to be. I mean, because we could break it down. There's cheating that happens all the time. There was one time, Derek Jeter said the ball hit him and it didn't. When a catcher, frames a pitch,
flopping is cheating.
So we can get into those.
Yeah,
it would be generally expected of a fan to know going in that what you're seeing might not be 100% on the up and up.
But part of the lawsuit is because of the winning that resulted from the cheating, that the ticket prices went up. So it's an artificial price gouge.
Yeah. I can dig that.
It's weak.
All right, Reeve, you ready for a rant?
The Reeve rant. So these leagues, they need to be the parents. We're the kids. We don't know better. We're just fans. I mean, I know better because I'm Reeve, and this is the Reeve rant, and I get to say what I want, and I'm right.
What do you got this week, Reeve?
All right, so tentatively titled, I want to try a new segment. We're going to have a sounder for it eventually, but right now.
Yeah. It's been a busy week. I will get it done.
We're going to use the Reeve rant thing, but tentatively titled Sports Stories. So a short story in sports. I'm going to talk about something happening right now in sports, and I'm going to go way back in history and tell a story that I think these guys don't know about and see what they think. And because of the Astros thing, it made me think of one of my favorite sports stories of all time. And it's got it all. It's got the mob. It's got Catholic priests. It's got the shortest player in Phillies history that played just one game. Actually, 2 games in his entire career, who also happened to be connected to the Chicago Mafia. It's got it all. So let's go back to 1912. So it all started, you know what? Most of this information is going to come from a guy named Gary Livacari, if I have that name right, from the Society for American Baseball Research. So there are times when I'm going to read, directly from his article on there about this guy named Alan Travers, who ended up being the only Catholic priest to ever pitch in Major League Baseball. He was, I believe, 19, maybe 20 at the time, and later went on to become a Catholic priest, only player in Major League Baseball to do that. The reason why, and it was the only game he ever pitched. Basically, the story goes like this. Ty Cobb, we all know the name, played for the Detroit Tigers. One game, there was a fan in the stands, got upset with Ty Cobb, and was letting him have it. So Ty Cobb did what players kind of did. They were crazy back then. Talk about, banging on a trash can. Ty Cobb went into the stands with a baseball bat and tried to end this guy's life.
Oh, shit.
So, naturally, the commissioner of baseball said, all right, you're banned for 10 games. Now, I feel like it would be a little bit more than that. But Ty Cobb, very popular player, and 10 games, very significant. His teammates said 10 games, that's ridiculous. All he did was go after that asshole and the fans. He had it coming to him. So, basically, his teammates are saying, if Ty Cobb can't play, we're not playing. And for every game that you're not going to let Ty Cobb play, we're not taking the field. And the owner of the Tigers got worried because the commissioner said, if you don't field a team, we're going to fine you $5,000 every day that you don't field a full team of 9. And $5,000, what do you think that is in today's money?
In today's money?
$5,000 in 1912. How much do you think it is?
Man, that's probably pretty decent amount of money.
I did the calculations, and it is $132,974.74 in 2020 cash.
ZJ, see if that's my car or your car.
I think it could even be my car. I have a new one.
Nah, it's one across the street.
Okay.
Are we cutting this part out?
No, we're good. We're good.
We're just going to keep
you can
rolling?
you can barely hear it. Yeah. Go
All
ahead.
right, good. We're in
So how much was it?
we're in a bad neighborhood. This is Exton, Pennsylvania.
You said it was $5,000
So
back then, and
the
how much is
commissioner's
it now?
going to fine him every day $5,000, which is $133,000 in today's money.
God.
And this is coming out of the commissioner's or the owner's pocket. This is 1912, so the
Wow.
owners are not billionaires. They're they're good. They're set up, but $132,000 a day is significant.
That's very
And,
significant.
you multiply that times 10, and this guy's going to lose over $1 million for not and then forfeiting these games too. So he talked to their next game was against the Philadelphia Athletics. So they said, all right, we need to work something out because if my players don't actually take the field, I'm screwed out of all this goddamn money. So he went to Connie Mack, who was the owner and manager of the Athletics at the time. And Connie Mack was as shrewd as it comes. I mean, he was every good and every bad owner you can think of today in one. This guy was a badass. So basically, he goes to Connie Mack and he says, all right, listen, this is what's going to happen. I'm not sure if my guys are going to play. Can you get me some players? So they literally go around Philly and they round up some athletes. They get 9 guys to take the field just in case. And Ty Cobb and the Tigers go out. They take the field. The umpire says, Cobb, you can't play. So all 9 guys come off the field. So in go the replacement players. Now the agreement was they're just going to field the team. And then the Tigers manager will come out, forfeit the game. Everyone goes home. That way, he can't get fined because he fielded the team. He did everything the commissioner said for him to do. He just forfeited the game. It's all good. He won't be out $5,000. They go to the umpire, and Connie Mack goes, no, I kind of want to play this game. It was one of those things where the Tigers manager, the owner, was like, dude, I thought we had an agreement. And there's fans in the stands, and they're pissed off. They want to know what the hell's going on. And Connie Mack's like, I could really get my guys to, put some good stats up on the board today. And that's what happened. They played the game. The pitcher that day was this guy, Alan Travers, the guy who ended up being the Catholic priest. He pitched. He was kind of a college pitcher, not that good.
Okay.
What's insane is that the game ended up, it was 27-3. I don't know how they scored 3 runs. But the catcher was a 5'4" guy connected to the Chicago mob named Billy Maharg. Interesting thing about him, his last name Maharg is Graham backwards. This was a real sleazy dude, like super sleazy dude. And they literally were wondering back then, was he a former major league player named Peaches Graham that for some reason changed his name to Billy Maharg? But that ended up being like a weird hoax. Nothing to that. What's weird about Billy Maharg, he was a driver for one of the players on the Athletics, so he ended up just playing the game. His first major league game, ended up being the shortest guy in, I believe, Athletics, and he played 1 game for the Phillies about 5 years later, so shortest guy in both franchises' history. Now, interesting thing about him, he was the whistleblower on the Black Sox scandal. He was the one moving money around. Talk about throwing a game. That's the biggest example of players literally taking money to throw a World Series back in 1919.
Wow.
So he's involved in that. But it's the weirdest situation in baseball history. Imagine we're talking guys like in maybe a local rec softball game taking the field for the Phillies.
Yeah.
And I can't believe the game actually ended 27-3. How'd they only give up 27 runs is one question. And
People tiring themselves
how
out.
did,
Yeah, right.
how did they score 3 runs?
Yeah, really. Yeah.
But
that's an
so
achievement.
Alan Travers, what's great and tragic about him is that he ended up, he became a Major League Baseball player for one day. But they only had 9 guys. So if you do the math, poor Alan Travers had to pitch the entire game.
Wow.
He gave up all 27 runs.
27 runs.
So that's
Wow.
still the record for the most runs given up in a complete game. He owns the record.
Wow.
Father Alan Travers.
Good job. Very good job. It's a good story.
So I mean, it wasn't necessarily cheating, but also I guess it also links back to the goalie for what team was that? The NHL this past week, where they went to the emergency goalie and he was the Zamboni driver. Did you hear that story?
No, I didn't hear that
So
story.
it's kind of like that, but with every goddamn player on the Athletics.
That's crazy.
And fans were pissed. What's funny is that it's weird. Back then, fans went to the game in like a 3-piece suit, and ladies wore dresses, and it was a very respectable affair. And I think once they fielded that kind of lopsided competition, they were actually insulted.
Yeah, sure.
Which I think now it would be, everybody would have their phones out. It would be all over Twitter. It would be the craziest thing. People would be saving and cherishing that game ticket. No one would leave.
Right.
You for sure wouldn't leave, but people were leaving. And by the end of the game, almost nobody was left.
Wow.
So
Let's
you
do
have it.
some clickbait real quick before we get the go to the week. That was a great story by you.
thank you.
I like that.
I
like
know it was.
I like that.
I don't know. For my Revy rant, I'm supposed to be like arrogant because that's the way the sounder goes.
Your new sounder will be much more sophisticated and laid back. CJ, what do you got?
2020 Olympics could be canceled over coronavirus outbreak.
Summer 2020 sounds like it's going to be canceled over this coronavirus outbreak. It's terrible. It's terrible.
I heard a funny joke that apparently Corona came out and said can't we change the name to Bud Light virus?
I think they tweeted that or something.
Yeah, their sales are going down.
That's pretty good.
Kobe Bryant Helicopter Company's insurance won't cover lawsuits.
You're going to have to. Somebody's going to have to because, they're coming for you.
Vanessa Bryant files wrongful death lawsuit, claims pilot was reckless.
Yeah. The first thing I heard after Kobe passed was how bad the fog was that day and that everyone was grounded. For some reason this helicopter was in the air. I don't think that Kobe was like, no, I don't care about the fog. Let's go. I'm pretty sure that that's up to the person flying the helicopter, which was owned by a company. You're going to have to pay something.
I don't know what kind of protections they have, and if they got how much money do they have in the bank?
Well, it was Kobe's company that owned the helicopter.
Oh, God.
So,
well, that's an issue.
So that's going to be. What
do you even do about that?
It's going to be weird.
Yeah,
well, that's what
weird.
the insurance is supposed to cover that they're saying they're not. And I'm sure that's why Vanessa's suing the pilot. So that way it would be a wraparound.
Somebody's got to do it.
When Kobe's company gets sued.
Yeah.
And the insurance, so they would go after Kobe's estate, which then Kobe's estate's going at. Oh.
Yeah.
Fans boo the hell out of Astros star. First at bat since cheating scandal.
Good. Was that Jose Altuve? Does it say? I'm guessing.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen.
It's going to make it interesting. Now Major League Baseball has a villain. And that's always a great thing to have. It's awesome to have a star, to have a hero, but that's kind of, inherent to sports. Having a true villain, you can't just create that.
It makes it
It has
interesting.
to happen naturally, and now you got it. And it's going to be so cool to watch those first few games.
Darren Sproles. I'm a Hall of Famer. I feel like I am.
I feel it's just how I feel.
I mean, he's supposed to feel like that, I think, but
Well, he's not. And my argument for those kind of guys, and I think the NFL really has it right in this regard. It's an argument I try to make for baseball, and I get killed on Twitter for it all the time. nobody has an open mind when it comes to this kind of thing. Who was the guy on the Lakers? Big shot Rob Horry, right? Robert Horry. He would hit the big shots, and how many 3-pointers he hit to help the Lakers win games, move on in the playoffs, eventually win championships. Because he was on those teams and he was known for those shots, people said around his retirement he should be a Hall of Famer. He's so integral to that kind of thing. He was still like an 8 points per game player. He was not good enough. He would have played more if he was good enough. He wasn't good enough. The first qualification for the Hall of Fame is, are you good enough to be a starter?
Yeah.
Darren Sproles was rarely good enough to be a starting running back in the NFL. Therefore, I don't care what he did on special teams. He wasn't good enough to make regular teams. He was special, but not in the good way.
Oh, God.
What? I mean, special teams. What
right.
do you think of me?
Last one.
Yeah.
Philadelphia Phillies mascot, new fanatic, doesn't look very new at all.
Yeah, he looks basically the same, except his nose or beak is more cylindrical.
Snout.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
not like a horn anymore. I haven't seen. Does he still do the tongue sticking
Yeah,
out
he
thing?
still has the tongue. His eyes got redone.
His eyes got redone.
And I think the best part, the shoes.
I like the shoes.
Got new kicks.
The new kicks I like, but he doesn't
Tail
have
feathers
the.
different.
He can't do the shake his gut anymore, can he?
I'm not sure. I
believe he
that.
still can, and then his tail's blue now.
Blue now.
The hands are different. He's got gills under
Yeah.
the arms. I guess I don't know what they are.
Scales, whatever.
Scales.
Yeah, he's
not gills.
Yeah, whatever he is. It's cool. Because
That-
what's
that
the deal?
makes-
They're getting sued, right?
That's now wrong.
Yeah, that's worth more now.
We need to talk to our buddy S. Preston and have him do a new one.
Or that one's just going to be worth a lot of
Oh,
money.
you think I can get him to do a drawing of what Grimy looks like?
Yes, you should.
Is that, have you seen Grimy up close? It's disgusting.
I need to.
I don't know if you should put that to paper.
Let's do go to the week.
Might Be Sports presents the greatest of all time.
Of the week. All right, my clear cut go to the week. Joel Embiid put up a career high 49 points the other night in 36 minutes, 17 for 24. He's had a up and down season so far. Received a lot of criticism recently, including from the fans booing him, and he was doing some dumb shit on Instagram and Twitter and whatever, and Jimmy Butler got involved, and I got butthurt. But Joel Embiid really has kind of turned it around, it seems like, and he's going to need to keep it up because they don't know how long Ben Simmons is going to be out with his back injury. But Joel Embiid, my clear cut go to the week this week. Career high 49 points against Atlanta the other night. Really, really strong performance. What do you got?
All right. Well, last weekend, and now that we're doing this on video, now everybody's going to see how I always look up my go to the week as last second as possible.
Yeah.
The guy we were just talking about, the goalie that came in, the Zamboni driver for the Carolina Hurricanes. The cool thing about hockey is that they have these emergency goaltender situations where they literally are just regular dudes a lot of times. They'll bring them in some circumstances. This came up with the Flyers recently, where he didn't actually get into the game, but he was there in case they were going to need him. It was just a guy that, coached youth hockey, I believe, just from town. But he got to suit up and he was there. This guy actually got into the game and got the win. So,
Wow, that's awesome.
So he ended up, the Hurricanes won 6-3. 42-year-old Zamboni driver got the win in his NHL debut.
That's pretty
That
awesome.
kind of stuff is cool as hell. But again, and you know what? I decided to do that story on, the 1912 Athletics Tigers game. No idea. This was before this went down. So it's so strange that, I'm doing that story because of the Astros stuff. And then something that directly correlates happens, just last weekend. So
Yeah.
that's strange.
Sure. Great job this week, guys. It's good to be back. Season premiere week rolls on tomorrow with a all-new Novak and Fran show podcast coming out here on the Might Be News Network. Tune in. The rest of the week, we got Might Be Tunes, Might Be Brews. Go to CBD.com, promo code MBN, 20% off, free shipping, free stuff. Go to MBNnetwork.com, where you can find all your favorite podcasts in one place. It's awesome. We're doing a great thing. And if you're listening to us but aren't watching us, go to YouTube, search for MBN Network. See you next week.